Greetings to Hrothgar. I am Hygelac's kinsman, one of his hall troop. When I was younger, I had great triumphs. When the news of Grendel, hard to ignore, reached me at home, sailors brought stories of the plight you suffer. In this legendary hall, how it lies deserted, empty, and useless once the evening light hides itself under heaven's dome. So every elder and experienced councilman among my people supported my resolve to come here to you, King Hrothgar, because all knew my awesome strength. They had seen me boltered in the blood of enemies, when I battled and bound 5 beasts, raided a troll nest in the night sea, slaughtered sea brutes. I have suffered extremes and avenged the Geats. Their enemies brought it upon themselves. I devastated them. Now I mean to be a match for Grendel, settle the outcome in single combat. And so, my request, O King of bright Danes, dear Prince of the Shieldings, friends of the people, and their ring of defense, my one request is that you won't refuse me, who have come this far, the privilege of purifying Heorot, with my own men to help me, and nobody else. I have heard, moreover, that the monster scorns in his reckless way to use weapons. Therefore, to heighten Hygelac's fame, and gladden his heart, I hereby renounce sword and the shelter of the broad shield. The heavy war-board, hand to hand, is how it will be. A life and death. Fight with the fiend. Whichever one death fells, must deem it just judgment by God. If Grendel wins, it will be a gruesome day. He will glut himself on the Geats in the war hall, swoop with fear on the flower of manhood, as on the others before. Then my face won't be there to be covered in death. He will carry me away as he goes to ground, gorged and bloodied. He will run gloating with my raw corpse, and feed on it alone, in a cruel frenzy, fouling his moor nest. No need then to lament for long, or lay out my body. If the battle takes me, send back his breast webbing that Wieland fashioned and Hrethel gave me, to Lord Hygelac. Fate goes ever as fate must. Arthur was mortally wounded, grievously badly. To him there was a young lad who was from his clan. He was Cater, the Earl of Cornwall's son. The boy was called Constantine. The king loved him very much. Arthur gazed up at him, as he lay there on the ground, and uttered these words with a sorrowing heart. Welcome, Constantine. You were Cater's son. Here I bequeath to you all of my kingdom, and guard will my Britons all the days of your life, and retain for them all the laws which have been extant in my days, and all the good laws which there were in others' days. And I shall voyage to Avalon, to the fairest of all maidens, to the Queen Argante, a very radiant elf, and she will make quite sound every one of my wounds, will make me completely whole with her health-giving potions, and then I shall come back to my own kingdom, and dwell among Britons with surpassing delight. After these words came gliding from the sea what seemed a short boat, moving propelled along by the tide, and in it were 2 women in remarkable attire, who took Arthur up at once and immediately carried him and gently laid him down, and began to move off. And so it had happened, as Merlin said before, that the grief would be incalculable at the passing of Arthur. The Britons even now believe that he is alive, and living in Avalon with the fairest of the elf folk. And the Britons are still always looking for when Arthur comes returning. Yet once there was a prophet, and his name was Merlin. He spoke his predictions, and his sayings were the truth, of how an Arthur once again would come to aid the English.